Today we're answering a question that came in from someone. I think it's a good one that hopefully will apply to you or maybe answer some questions you have. But here it is. My wife and I have decided that our children won't receive an inheritance until they are 25. Pretty common scenario. However, I want to carve out a special provision allowing them to access money early for a car or a down payment on a house. But how do I know the right amount of money to leave for these expenses? With all the inflation over the last few years, I have no confidence that I can predict how much a car and house will cost 10 years from now. None of us can, but we'll try to answer that question next. Welcome in. This is Complete Estate Planning. I'm Ben George. He is Nick Rosenbauer at the Rosenbauer Law Office, and we try to answer your questions and try to educate you in many different areas of estate planning. And today, Nick, we got a pretty common scenario where someone wants to leave money for their children, but want to wait to a certain age, right? Responsibility with that money, but want to carve out a provision or two to help them with some major expenses should they come across those a little bit earlier.
Yeah, absolutely. So a couple ways to go about it. Obviously, which path you go on is going to be dependent on circumstances. If you are capable of it, I would say the easiest and lowest risk option would just be, and I typically have some sort of foundation that I put in to my plans where there is an age restriction where, hey, you don't get a check until this age. I like to have a fallback provision that says your trustee is authorized to access money or release money early if the person has, basic support needs, health, medical, education. And if you have a trustee that you fully trust and are confident in not only them, but their money decision making and kind of where they're at on the spectrum of not being too spendy on everything. And like, you don't want a 16-year-old to get a $100,000 car, right? But you also don't want them to be too miserly and, well, you're 16, you can get a bicycle or we'll get you a car that doesn't run, but then it doesn't really do you any good. You can't get to work. You can't get to school. So if you have someone who you trust their decision-making and you trust that they will, give them a $5,000 to $7,000 car, which is the right amount to where it's enough that it's reliable. It'll get them where they need to go. But when they back into a mailbox, it's okay. If you have something like that, or, with the house, you don't have to pick a dollar amount. We don't have to try and predict that because that's hard to do. And then you can just leave it up to the decision making or the judgment of the person that you picked. And then again, now that's easy mode. So if you have someone to do that, you can specifically kind of write in saying, in addition to the basic support needs, I specifically desire that my trustee authorize, money to purchase a first vehicle and to assist with the down payment of an appropriately priced house for each beneficiary if they need it before age 25. So if you fully trust the person that is in charge of this, that's all you need to do. You don't need to pick. It's great. Now, not everyone has that, okay? And this gets really tough because you have to kind of bracket it. And and also a lot of it depends on how far away we are. If you have a 15-year-old and they are going to get a car next year or, as soon as you pass away, I have more confidence trying to decide an appropriate budget for a car next year than like for my 3-year-old 13 years from now, right? I don't think it's going to work very well. So if they're close, you could do a dollar amount. You could just say they get $10,000 towards a car. And if it's within the next few years, I'm okay with that. I would never be able to put that into a numerical value for my 3-year-old and say, what is a car going to be 13, 14 years from now? Okay. I don't have a clue what that is. So you can put the language in there. But if you are not comfortable with just leaving it up to your decision maker, the best thing you can do is maybe put a number in, but index it for inflation. Okay. So it's not perfect. because you have to use like the consumer price index, like you have to use like the inflation factor for everything, even though like houses have gone way up, cars have gone way up, not everything has. And actually, I think a few years ago, like I think vehicles and housing like is not part of the CPI anymore. If I'm not mistaken, with that, I think that was done, to fudge inflation numbers, but neither here nor there. And none of my bottles of bourbon are within reach. So I don't want to get into that discussion if I can't reach it. Now maybe we'll have a, bourbon and inflation conspiracy theories episode later, but I'm not doing that sober. But you could do something indexed for inflation. It'll get you close. So Ben, if you're sitting there saying if it was today, what would the check be, or what would your amount be? And they'd say maybe $5,000 for a car, or $10,000 for a car. Then we can do $10,000 for a car, indexed for inflation based on the date of this document being signed. That'll get you pretty close. And you could do the same for a house. A big thing on the house, though, is a lot of it's location dependent. San Francisco, LA, $500,000 may get you like a 1-bedroom condo. But where I live, $500,000 is going to get you a nice 5-bedroom house. Okay. So we can put an inflation index on that as well as a backup, but a lot of it is location dependent. And then another piece is you have to be careful for the car, not so much, but for the house, you got to be careful of not making the money so much that it enables someone, instead of just having less of a mortgage, they just buy a better house. Okay. Like if it's, hey, I want to give $200,000 because I'm expecting them to pay $400,000 for a house, I want to cover half. You got to be careful that they don't take the $200,000 as a down payment for $1 million house, because now it allows them to put 20% down. So on the house, you can put some sort of I will pay 10% of the purchase price up to this amount. So you can put a percentage in there so you're not enabling them to go too far with it. But yeah, if you don't have someone, short answer, if you don't have anyone that you trust to make that calculation when the time comes, which is the easy button, then the best thing to do is give a number in today's dollars and then index it for inflation. It won't be perfect, but it'll be close. And it's about as good as you can do as far as looking into the crystal ball on what the house will cost 20 years from now.
You can schedule a call with Nick. Just go to CincinnatiEstatePlan.com. Also, you can call 513-463-6789 to learn more. But we appreciate this question. If you have one for us, we'd love to hear from you. And please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Nick, have a good week.
Hey, thanks a lot. You too.
Are you feeling overwhelmed by estate planning? The process can seem complex, but it doesn't have to be. The Rosenbauer Law Office is dedicated to helping you protect what matters most: your family, your assets, and your peace of mind. Nick and the team will guide you through every step of the process, making sure you feel confident and informed along the way. Take the first step toward peace of mind today. Schedule an introductory call by clicking the link in the description of today's show.
This show is for informational purposes only and does not provide any legal advice. Information on this show may not constitute the most up-to-date legal information. Please do not act or refrain from acting based solely on anything you hear on this show. This show does not form any attorney-client relationship with the Rosenbauer Law Office, LLC. Please seek the counsel of a qualified attorney before addressing your own estate planning needs.